What's up, everybody? Tonight we're going to talk about Claressa Shields' fight from last night and much more when we come right back. Welcome to another episode of Ring Walk Boxing Podcast. I am Bean, and we're gonna jump right into it tonight and cover a couple different topics because I won't be before you too long tonight. All right, so let me give a couple shout outs real quick. Shout outs to Cam J, of course. Shout outs to Cuz Down South. Shout outs to Sean, aka The Church. And just shout out to Miss Jab Queen, 2 Cents Boxing, and everybody out there doing their thing on these podcasts. My main man, Kurt DeVille, Counterpunch Boxing News. Thanks for the love, brother. For sure. I appreciate every and anybody. And all the different boxing trainers and up and coming boxers. Shout out to the young man that I hollered at. The vanilla gorilla, who's a boxer and had his first fight. I hope to get him on the podcast in the next week or two so he can kind of break down his experience in his first boxing match and talk about his upcoming second match here locally in the tri-state area of Cincinnati, Ohio. So big ups to Cincinnati. You know, it was the Jazz Fest weekend. Everybody was kind of doing their thing here in the city of Cincinnati. It's something big for those out of town or those overseas. We have a Jazz Fest here annually in Cincinnati. And you have some of the biggest soul hip hop artists. They had LL Cool J, Anthony Hamilton, Isley Brothers, Earth, Wind and Fire, Jasmine Sullivan, 112, and much more. Ice Cube, that was really dope to hear that Ice Cube was in Cincinnati. Maybe not for the Jazz Fest, but for a separate venue downtown Cincinnati at the Fountain Square with the Brat and Ricky Smiley, the comedian. Cincinnati was real lit this past weekend for sure. All right, y'all. So let's jump into our boxing talk. So I was on YouTube like I normally do. I'm always browsing YouTube and social media, and I came across Ryan Garcia in an interview with Fight Hub TV. Now, Ryan Garcia was pretty much alluding to the fact that he wasn't 100% when he fought Rolly Romero, when he took a loss. And I guess people were making comments, maybe in the chat as he was doing his interview. And he kept saying, "Oh, you guys are trolling me. Yeah, I got dropped. But even though Rolly Romero dropped me, he didn't really cause any... He didn't really cause me much harm or whatever. I got right back up. He didn't knock me out. I went the distance." And Ryan Garcia is saying he must run it back with Rolly Romero. So I mean, that'll be a cool rematch in my estimation. It'll be a good rematch. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. With that, make sure when you come in the chat, please hit the thumbs up. Please hit the thumbs up button, and you can always share my link, pass it along to people, share it on your social media. I just need the word to get out so I can get more people to view the show. But so far, we're looking very, very good, y'all. And thanks to everyone again. I made a post on FB pertaining to my podcast, and it was well received. So shout outs to everybody that's been showing support. All right, so last night I didn't get to catch the matches that were on. I believe it was on Top Rank ESPN. I didn't really get to catch those, but I did catch a few of the matches that were on the card of Claressa Shields, and I saw one or two of the female fights earlier that ended up being some pretty good matches. And then the fight I was really looking forward to that really was piquing my interest was the return of Tony Harrison out of Detroit, Michigan. Because his last fight with, I believe, Tim Tszyu, he was knocked out. And that was like 2.5 years ago, I believe. At least 2 years ago. Well, he came back last night, and he looked pretty good in that ring. He had a good jab. He was working his opponent's body. He was doing 2 and 3 punch combinations. Now, towards the 8th or 9th round, he got into a heavy exchange, and he got caught, I believe, with the right hand. He got caught flush on his chin, and he ended up hitting the canvas. But he was able to get himself together and finish out the fight on his feet. And he won that fight by unanimous decision. So shout outs to Tony Harrison. They fought in the city of Detroit, Michigan, here in the Midwest. So big ups to the people up in the 313 up north. Now the main event on that card was Claressa Shields versus Lani Daniels. And I want to say Lani Daniels is from New Zealand. And I did a little bit of research on Lani Daniels. I personally felt prior to that fight, this is definitely a fight that Claressa is going to win. I didn't really see the opponent giving her a lot of resistance or a lot of issues, which ended up being the case. I mean, she pretty much, in the first couple rounds, Lani Daniels was just moving around the ring, and eventually she would engage in small pockets with Claressa Shields. And Claressa caught her flush a lot, but then Claressa also was missing a lot of punches. She threw a lot of combinations, but all those punches were not accurate punches. Lani Daniels was able to slip a lot of the offense of Claressa Shields. What I happened to notice is that Claressa really wasn't going to her opponent's body enough. You got somebody that's running around the ring like Lani Daniels. You got somebody who's moving her head left and right. You need to kind of like focus on her body a lot. And I think Claressa should have went to her body a lot more than what she was doing last night. All right. So, Dark Kent, what's going on? You said, yeah, Lani had happy feet in the beginning of the fight. Yeah, man, definitely. Shout outs to Dark Kent. Yeah, she definitely had happy feet, man. Just moving around that ring, man, like she was. It's one thing to move and fight, but just to be moving and not throwing any punches. That's when a person's just there. The way I look at it, they're there just to get paid. They're there to they know they're gonna get that check anyway, and they're not making it an entertaining fight. They're just running around the ring, not much offense, Kind of like when Canelo fought William Skull. You had a guy like William Skull running around the ring, barely throwing any punches, and just happy to get that big old check. And that's not what boxing is about, and that's not what a true scientific fighter is. The art of hitting and not get hit is you still have to hit. You can't just be running around the ring and not being offensively responsible. People get it misconstrued with scientific hit and don't get hit, like Floyd Mayweather style or Muhammad Ali. Yeah, these guys did a lot of moving, but they threw a lot of punches and volume as well. Angry Nick fan, you said that's why Shields needs to be fighting. Hold on one second, my guy. I got an emoji covering your comment. You said that's why Shields don't need to be fighting these C-level fighters, just like Canelo. Perfect example. Yeah, I agree, man, for sure. TJ, shout outs to TJ. You said, yeah, she ran, but are you saying T-Rex threw punches the first 4 to 5 rounds? She was damn near sprinting. Yeah, man, for sure. It was crazy. TJ, you said Claressa had to fight on the ropes too to bring her in. Yeah, she was trying to lure her in, man, for sure. I peeped that. You could tell it was like by design that she would kind of like not be the aggressor, I guess, just to try to hope that Lani would try to come forward and attack so she could counterpunch her. Dark Kent, you said Lani had some moments in the later rounds against Shields, but just wasn't skilled enough to compete with Claressa. Absolutely. Hey, what's good, Mike Wares? What's up, my bro? TJ, you said Lani didn't throw punches if you're going to run. Absolutely. Shout outs to Cam J again. Cam J Network. What's up, my brother? Yo, if you see Cam J Network down there, check him out. He actually did a podcast show at 1:00 today, featuring Tay Jones and some other people on the panel. It was lit. So definitely check out my fam right there. Cam J was lit earlier. It was off the chain. I unfortunately tried to get on, but I had my TV on at the same time watching Cam J. And when I had my TV on and my phone at the same time, when I tried to hit the link, it started making that feedback sound. And I realized it after the fact, like, oh man, my TV is the reason why that sound was echoing like that. So then I ended up turning my TV off. But by the time I had adjusted to want to get back in the show, then my phone rang. So I'm like, oh man, this is just one of them times everything was starting to happen at one time. But shout outs to Tay Jones. Mike, where you said I did not watch the Claressa fight. It's like 30 fighters worldwide in that division. Yeah, it's not that deep. It ain't that deep in that division. Oh, that's right. Yep. Hey, no problem, Cam J. No problem. I appreciate you as well. You said, yeah, B. Norman Sr. was on there too, y'all. So if you go run back the live on Cam J's YouTube channel, he had Brian Norman Sr. on there telling his side of the story with the Devin Haney situation. So definitely tap in, because when I go to work tomorrow, I'm going to run it back. Because I got the first half of it, but some of the second half, I didn't get to listen to the rest. So when I get up and go to work in the morning, I'm gonna have my ear pods in. What's up, Guards Up Entertainment? You said I think it was just her, Lani Daniels, last minute strategy to try and tire out Claressa. I started to think like that in the back of my mind, like, is she trying to set Claressa up? Is she trying to make her chase her so she feels like Claressa might get tired and then try to like turn up a little bit? But yeah, Lani Daniels to me, she's mediocre, but she's not at that level. Angry Nick fan, loyal Tony. You said I thought Zayas looked like a sharp Devin last night. That's what I'm hearing. That's what Cam J said. I'm gonna go run that fight back tonight after this podcast. I'm gonna watch that fight. That I'm gonna run that Zayas fight back because that was on I think ESPN, and I was watching the Zone, so I didn't go back and forth from one channel to the other. TJ, you said, yeah, she tried to, but lost hella rounds doing that. Yeah, man. Yeah, she was like she was being counterproductive. You know, you can think you're doing something, have a certain game plan in mind, but when you're boxing, giving away rounds because you're trying to run around to tire your opponent out, you're not really throwing many punches back. That's being counterproductive. And she basically was shooting herself in the foot, you know. But shout outs to Claressa Shields on her win, you know. And maybe, I think that was Cam J that mentioned it. We might see Claressa Shields fight Shadeja Green. So, what do y'all think? If Shadeja Green versus Claressa Shields happen, I'm going for Claressa Shields over Shadeja Green. But do y'all think Shadeja Green could cause an upset? Let me know. And there is a link above for Cam J. If y'all want to check him out. Absolutely, TJ. She ran too much and not punching. Yeah, for sure. Mike, where you said I watched the Zayas fight, it was good, but it was still something missing from him. Okay, I gotta go run that back for sure. Everybody keep talking about the Zayas, so I gotta watch that tonight. Um, Angry Nick fan, loyal Tony, you said Lani was just happy she didn't get knocked out. Exactly, man. She was just there to survive, man. She was there to survive. And some people are content with not getting knocked out. They'll just survive and they're happy with that. Dark Kent, you said I believe Zayas could have stopped Garcia, but seems he just wanted to showcase his skills going 12 rounds. TJ, you said you got Claressa Shields over Shadeja Green. Yeah, yeah, for sure, man. I would too. Mike Ware, you said only after Claressa Shields takes time off to have babies and return. Yeah, she did say in that interview she's going to be having a child here soon, but she might get one more fight before she chooses to start a family. I think she may fight probably early, hopefully earlier, the early quarter of 2026. Get one more fight in, and then maybe start her family, and have a little time away from the sport. and then get back into the grind at some point. Cause she's still young. She's only like 30 years old, so she got a good 5 years of 4 or 5 years of boxing left. Guards up. You said how everyone keeps trying to downplay Claressa for being at that weight class, saying not having many competitors, but give Layla Ali all the props in the world. Make it make sense. Well, to your point, guards up. Actually, and also shout out to my guy, the church. We actually talked about that earlier. Actually, if I'm being honest, Layla Ali doesn't have a stellar resume. Layla Ali doesn't have a one of those resumes that make you like, whoa, she fought this person. I mean, had Christy Martin been her size, that would have definitely been a fight you could big up, because Christy Martin was somebody, but Christy Martin was much smaller than Layla Ali, so can't really give her too much credit in that regard. She beat the Mahfoud opponent twice, and Mahfoud was the same lady who knocked out Ann Wolfe, but that was at a point where Ann Wolfe was maybe in the beginning of her career herself. So I won't look too far into the fact that Mahfoud had TKO'd Ann Wolfe, because Ann Wolfe did come back and fight her maybe twice more and won. Of course, the word in the boxing world is that Layla Ali didn't want to smoke with Ann Wolfe. But I mean, like my guy was telling me earlier, that an offer was made. It was just that Ann Wolfe felt like she was being lowballed. In the same aspect, let's talk about shout outs to the legend, the late legend, Aaron Pryor Sr. He was offered like $500,000 from Sugar Ray Leonard way back in the early 80s. And back at that time, $500,000, that's a lot of money in the 1980s. But then he said it was a low ball, from what I heard. So sometimes people don't take what they perceive to be a low ball offer. But at the same time, if you really feel like you can win that fight, it's almost good to almost take that amount of money. Like, okay, I feel like I can beat this person, and maybe I'm in a position where if I beat them, it's going to help build my resume, but it's also going to help me get in position for a belt. Or if that person has a title for me to fight for, take the low ball offer, or what you think may be a low ball offer, fight them, and if you win and get that belt, then you got a bargaining tool. You know, it's like playing chess. I do too, TJ. I think she's gonna fight one more time before she starts her family. Guards up. You said Shadeja Green would be a good matchup, but I personally believe it will be no different than Danielle Perkins' fight. Pretty much, man. You make a good point right there, man. Actually, because she got that size, like Perkins had that size or whatever, and she's gonna probably be too slow, whereas Claressa is faster on her feet. She got faster hands. She got better punch angles. I think she's gonna break her down. She's gonna break down Shadeja Green. She probably would. She would drop Shadeja Green, actually. Guards up. You said, honestly, I would love for Claressa to take the Raquel Miller fight. Okay, that's what's up, man. I'm going to keep it 100. I am not privy on Raquel Miller. So I'm going to be doing my due diligence tonight, and I'm going to do some film study on her style. Raquel Miller. Oh, yeah. I'm going to check her out for sure. Mike Ware. No one would think of Layla Ali if it wasn't for her dad. Well, yeah, Muhammad Ali, sure. But she made women boxing big. Her and Joe Frazier's daughter had the first female pay-per-view. Yeah, that's true, Mike. That's true. Guards up. Claressa is much smaller than Layla too. Yeah, I mean, like, especially back then when they were first beefing, and Layla was only 42 years old at that time. Now Layla's like 47, so pretty much pushing 50. Um, but now Claressa is what? She's fighting at 175, and I think Layla said she walks around at 200 pounds. She's just a big bone woman. But Layla looks real good still. She said she still works out. She stays fit. She's not a person on the couch, she said. So Layla, she could probably, cut down and weight a little bit, and if they fought at like 175. And please smash that thumbs up, y'all. Please smash that thumbs up button. Angry Nick fan, Loyal Tony, you said facts, like the way Devin did with Cam. Yeah, but yep, Cambosis, yep. Very similar to that type of outcome and fight style. Yes, sir. Absolutely. Mike Ware, you said here's the issue. Claressa starts things with everyone. Mike Ware, I was actually under that same impression, man. But I kind of like pumped my brakes a little bit, because now I want to kind of look at the full spectrum, and like people were talking earlier, the full totality of the situation at hand. I mean, yeah, Claressa could be a little slick with her words. That's just the fact that she's from Flint. She's from the hood or whatever. She grew up the hard way. But in the same aspect, it's like, just because a person has an edge to them doesn't mean that they're always the one you want to say, okay, they're being messy or they're the one causing drama. Because I was under that impression at first. Now, somebody that made me look at it at a different angle and under a different lens was the church. We had talked about it, and he said, nah, I don't think that Claressa, started this whole debacle, this whole situation, and Layla Ali is like pretty much threw the rock and hit the hand, type situation. So I'm just going to dig a little bit more. Like, between this today and next weekend, I hope by next Sunday I have more information gathered up. I just want to know, like, try to get to the bottom of how this all transpired, because there's two sides to every story. So I don't want to feel like I'm the one that just saying, oh, Claressa Shields is wrong in this whole scenario and Layla's right. I want to be fair. I like to listen to both parties. I've looked at the interview with Sway and Breakfast Club and Andre Ward with Layla Ali. So it's only fair that I go back and watch Claressa Shields tell her side of the spectrum on the scenario and story when she sat down with Andre Ward. So, TJ, you said Claressa at Mike Ware, what is she supposed to do? She promoting herself. Definitely promoting herself, man. Definitely. Definitely. And like I said, this won't be a very long segment, but there is a link right there, y'all. If you want to jump on real quick and talk some, let me know. There's a link right there in the chat. Guards Up Entertainment. You said she be responding more than starting. Yeah, man, that definitely very well could be the case. So, hey, we gonna see, man. 1 second, Cam. All right, can you hear me?
Okay.
Hello?
I can't hear you. You can hear me, but I can't hear you.
All right, you say guards up. I posted the Layla Ali Claressa Shields beef in partial complete. Michael Weir, you said if she is promoting herself, she's doing a bad job.
I'm gonna try to go back
Well, I
in. I'm
mean,
gonna go out and come back
I
in.
guess
Let
you
me
gotta
try
look at it
that.
like this. If she's promoting herself, last night she did. From my understanding, she sold out in Detroit. Now, we might attribute that to the fact she fought in Detroit and she's from Michigan. So you might say, well, a lot of her family and her loyal fans in the state of Michigan are going to support her. But I mean, last night venue, from what I heard, it was a packed out, a packed out house, man. And if Cam J gets on here shortly, he probably can confirm that if it was a sold out event, because from the way the screen looked on TV, and they're showing the crowd, it looked like it was a lot of people there. All right, Cam J.
I still can't hear nothing on your end.
Hmm. Um, Mike Ware said you said get real. She tried shaming Serrano. I can go on. It's not promoting. She the female version of 50 Cent. Mike Ware. Hey man, that's hilarious right there, bro. The way you put that, man, that's funny. That's hilarious, man.
Uh,
Oh man.
yeah, I can't hear y'all. I can't hear Bing. Yeah, I can't hear. I can't hear anything.
Are you still there, Cam J? All right, let me see what
Okay,
else we're gonna
I'm gonna
talk
try to
about
come
for a
back in.
second. Hold on. Oh yeah, and speaking of that, since we're talking about Clarissa and Layla, um, did y'all see the? It might have been a video, but I know it was a picture with Clarissa Shields posing in front of that check. She presented the $15 million and pretty much calls out Layla Ali like, "Hey, the money's here. So pretty much all you got to do is sign this contract." Um, so she's letting Layla Ali know she's ready for all that smoke. Um, like I said, both ladies did multiple interviews. So we'll see how this all pans out. Is Layla going to respond as she has been? She's going to respond to the $15 million check. We'll see. I'm waiting to see what Layla has to say about not only the $15 million, but also about the last performance of Claressa versus Lani Daniels. I wonder if she has any criticism over that, or if she's going to give her applaud her for her performance. I'm just curious to see what Layla Ali has to say about that. I was also looking at the Sean Porter podcast, Porter Way podcast on YouTube, and he talks a little bit about the back and forth with Brian Norman and Brian Norman Sr. and Devin Haney's dad, uh, Bill Haney. Uh, Now, Sean did say on this segment, he said, well, actually, Sean Porter and Brian Norman Jr. they both credit their dads for their success in boxing. So that's a good thing, because sometimes people say the father and son situations in boxing don't always mix. Well, I think it's fair to say Brian Norman Jr. and his father, Brian Sr., and Sean Porter and his dad, Kenny Porter, they have a good chemistry, and it all works out very well for them. Uh, Brian Norman, he did speak a little bit. Brian Norman Jr. did speak a little bit on Boots Ennis when he was asked a question from Sean Porter, and he said Boots Ennis is a great fighter. He was saying how he has the WBA, the IBA, and the Ring Magazine titles. Norman also talked about the fact that the Haneys are playing their game or whatever with the Vada situation. So we'll see how all this starts to unravel. I guess day after day, because Brian Norman Sr., if you want to hear his take on things, a lot of it Cam J's covering, but you can also go to Mill City Boxing, and they talk about it a whole lot there as well, about that whole situation. Um, but Sean Porter has said a while back, he does this sometimes. He'll say if he feels a certain match is not going to happen, he'll say that. So he was saying that he felt like Devin Haney's going to try to pull out of the Brian Norman Jr. fight, and that's the words of Sean Porter. So we'll see if that actually happens. We'll see. Also, the last thing I want to talk about is the fact we saw what happened with Daniel Dubois. He gets knocked out in round 5 after being dropped prior to the knockout by Usyk. And all Usyk did was take the same thing he does normally, but instead of waiting later, he started earlier, and he pretty much went on the attack in the early rounds, and he stopped Daniel Dubois. Now that fight is settled on the sideline, all that time we had Ajit Kabiel and we had Joseph Parker, and they were saying that the WBO mandated for Usyk and Parker to fight. They have like 30 days to come to an agreement, or it goes to purse bid. So we'll see here in the next couple weeks, y'all, if Team Usyk and them are willing to defend that WBO belt against Joseph Parker, or will they try to let that belt go and vacate it so they don't have to fight Joseph Parker? What do y'all think? Does Usyk want to fight Joseph Parker? And if Joseph Parker versus Usyk happens, what is y'all prediction if they get it on? Yeah, my bad, Cam J, man. You know, it's one of them nights, man. Sometimes technical difficulties occur, and I don't have any explanation on why, but they happen. Mike Ware, you said Claressa needs to be ashamed of herself, calling out a 50-year-old who hasn't fought in 20 years. Claressa can't get 1 million. Guards up, you said Michael Ware. Layla Ali was the one who said she would come out of retirement to fight Claressa. Live on an interview during the Katie Taylor versus Amanda Serrano fight. And she did what Guard just said, Mike Ware. If you go back to the trilogy of Serrano and Katie Taylor, there is an interview going around where you see Layla saying, I would definitely consider come back to boxing for 15 or 20 million. Now, like Kim J said, instead of Claressa presenting 15 million to Layla Ali, why give her the lowest amount? If she said 15 to 20, why don't you give her the cap? Just give her the 20, the extra 5 million more. Then that way, if she denies it, then you can call her bluff. But right now, she might be like, well, 15 million is good, but I want 20. You know what I'm saying? You just never know. But we're going to see here in the next few weeks, I'm pretty sure Layla's going to respond. She's going to respond back to the antics of Claressa Shields. Mike Ware, you said, okay, if 50-year-old called out me, I'd ignore it like Triple G did Hopkins. Well, that is true, Mike, but unfortunately, they might not think like you. Everybody thinks different. You might not do it, but the next person who's older, they might react a little different. You know what I mean? Mike Ware, you said, I would retire. Usyk has nothing left to prove. I have Usyk winning by YUD. Well, the thing I like about Parker, like Roy Jones and other people say, Parker's not like Anthony Joshua or Dubois. Dubois and AJ are similar. Two massive built guys that are built like bodybuilders. So with that being said, they don't have fluid movement. They don't really have good footwork. Uh, they have power for sure, and they're strong. Whereas Parker, he has more mobility. He has more. He's gonna be more slicker on his feet. He's gonna cut off the ring a lot faster. He's not gonna gas out because of the bulkiness of the muscles. You know, Parker he can go 12 rounds, man. I feel like Parker is the perfect matchup, the closest to the perfect matchup versus Usyk that we're going to get in this era of boxing. And I get it. You could say Usyk can retire, but you only get one shot at this. Once you retire normally, especially at the age Usyk's at, he's not going to retire and come back ever again. So what's the harm in fighting like 2 or 3 more fights? He can fight. Joseph Parker and Ajit Kabia, and then retire. All right, Mike Ware, you said I've seen it already. This has been going on for years. Yes, it has. It has been going on. Their Cold War has been going on for a long time with Layla Ali and Claressa T-Rex Shields. So we'll see, man. There's a lot of people interested in seeing that still. So, hey, who knows? We might see that. Now, it has been about, 16, 17 years since Layla's fought. that would be this would be the first time somebody had been out the ring that long. But like Layla said, she does work. She does work out. She does take care of herself. She takes her vitamins. Now, George Foreman came back after 10 years and was able to still be somewhat successful. So there is that possibility she can come back and Layla could look all right, you know. Guards up, you said look what it took for her to come up with that 15 million plus the venue and fight date. Nah, if Layla denies that, she definitely ain't really want to fight. I agree, bro. I agree. Guards up, I agree, man. You said guards up. Parker is deserved of a chance to fight Usyk, and I honestly don't believe. I honestly don't believe Usyk wants that fight, especially after that post interview, this past fight. It's funny you say that, man. A couple people feel like you, man. They don't feel like it's something about the energy of Usyk when it comes to Joseph Parker. His energy is different. I think he sees himself beating big guys like a AJ or like a Dubois or like the Chisoras, the guys that are like either they're big and massive or they're like a plotter. Because Chisora is not known for having good footwork. He's known for throwing haymakers. But if you find somebody like Parker who punches with precision, he has a good ring IQ, and he has a lot of good boxing skill, I think Parker can give Usyk issues, man. Not to say that he wins, but he's going to definitely make it hard for Usyk, in my opinion. All right, y'all. One last thing I want to talk about before I close tonight's show, and I appreciate everybody here. Please hit the thumbs up, y'all. Hit the thumbs up. Is we saw the last performance of Shakur Stevenson, and that performance versus Zapata was one of the better performances of Shakur Stevenson. Some people will say that the Jamel Herring fight, uh, they don't give him a lot of credit on that fight because they're saying that Jamel Herring was tailor made for Shakur. But anyways, where do you think Shakur Stevenson goes from here? Who would be a potential opponent for Shakur Stevenson? I wouldn't mind seeing Shakur fight Lamont Roach Jr., especially with Tank having to handle his situation, his legal situation right now. With Tank Davis having to handle that legal situation, where do we think uh, is going to happen for Lamont Roach Jr.? Is he going to get a replacement? Let me know what y'all think. Will Lamont Roach get a replacement for Tank Davis? And could it possibly be Shakur? I mean, would that be enough time because Shakur just fought not too long ago, but they could push the fight back and give him enough time in between to fight? So I don't know, but I want to know y'all thoughts on that. And I can't forget my guy. Shout outs to Canada's boxing channel. My good brother up north in Canada. Mike Ware, you said I say Parker and Wardley. Wardley would have been huge in the UK. Usyk ain't scared of no one. Usyk has never turned down a fight and beat everyone on the road. Well, the only thing to that, Mike Ware, he has beat everybody in their backyard, but the fight in Poland, that's a heavy. They have a heavy Ukrainian influence over there. So the Poland fight was kind of like a fight in the Ukraine to an extent. Like Daniel Dubois fighting him in Poland was definitely out of Daniel Dubois' element in the first fight. Dark Kent, I would agree. I wouldn't mind seeing Shakur versus Roach. Yes, sir. Guards Up Entertainment. You said, laughing my ass off, Michael Ware, you can't compare Triple G versus Bernard Hopkins to Claressa and Layla because Triple G never had beef with Bernard or was wanting to fight him. Michael Ware, you said, we all want the Tank fight, but Tank ducked it for years. It was Shakur's best money fight for the winner of Abdullah Mason title match. Guards Up, Shakur talking about fighting Conor Benn and or possibly to Fime Lopez, but that Lamont Roach fight would be good, but the energy would be highly different. Cam J and Mike Ware. Laugh emojis. Mike Ware, I can compare you another tribal fan with no boxing knowledge. Usyk scared of Parker, get real. Cam J, wait till you see my content on Shakur tomorrow. Bet, definitely, man. I'm gonna be locked into it. I always set my notification. Uh, JC said, "Here y'all go." Hey, get your popcorn, y'all. Get y'all popcorn, cause when they go, they go. Oh man! Shout outs to Guards Up Entertainment, y'all. You said Guards Up Entertainment. Roach versus Shakur reminds me of Tarver versus Glenn Johnson, energy wise. Yeah, it's definitely an intriguing matchup, man. It's a really good style matchup for sure. It definitely is. All right, y'all. We got about roughly 5 or 10 minutes. So, anything else you want to comment on as far as that? Hey, Cam J. Right before we go, what was that link you sent in the chat? It was a fight, like a clip of that fight. I think it was like that first round knockout. Who was that again? 'Cause that was crazy, bro. That was a crazy KO. Mike, you said when you say things like Usyk is avoiding someone, I question you. And Roach versus Shakur on Tarver Johnson level. Get real. Cam J, you said, I don't want to hear anyone Shakur friends with in the ring with him. We don't need no friendly fight. Well, yeah, I feel that. I feel that. Emilio Vargas last night. That was the one. Vargas. I'm gonna go watch that. I'm gonna watch that here tonight, here shortly. Yeah, I gotta run that Vargas and that Zayas fight. Yes, sir. Absolutely, man. All right, y'all. So I'm about to wrap this up. Make sure you hit the thumbs up, y'all. And like I said, spread the word or whatever. I'm gonna see y'all next Sunday. We're gonna be putting it down like we always do here at Ring Walk Boston Podcast. Big shout outs to my bro JC in the house for sure. Cuz down south. I appreciate you. And we're gonna keep it going every week like we are. Um, Also, in the description area below, we got the link for the merch. The hats, Green Walk Boxing Podcast hats. I think they were like in the gray here, the trucker style hat. You got the blue, a lot of different variety of different color hats. The shirts, purple, orange, hunter green, gray, black. A lot of different variations of shirt colors and hoodies, stuff like that, and like other merch stuff. So if you tap that link, you can have anything shipped your way internationally across the globe. So y'all, we're gonna wrap this one up tonight. Like I said, thanks again, y'all, and I'll catch y'all in the next round. Peace.